Okay, I want to talk to you guys about this new copyright bill which is going to destroy YouTube as we know it. It's S.978. This is, actually, it does not have a catchy name. In fact, unlike most copyright bills like Protect IP and some of the other more scarier ones that actually didn't get approved, uh, this one does not have a catchy name. It's like 3 pages long, so you can review it. And because it's 3 pages long, it is written in such an overbroad way that it's just going to completely change the legal standing by which most YouTube content is created. I'll give you some background. Right now, copyright law does not really have a way to handle streaming video. For example, say if you have a live stream of some copyrighted material, well, there are some websites which are proactively filtering it. Like, I think Livestream themselves actually sent out an email everyone saying they're zero tolerance for piracy and this whole marketing crap about how they were going to start actively censoring everything and making it even harder to get a working live stream with more than like 10 viewers. But this is much more broader than that. I have the bill, and it inserts penalties of a maximum sentence 5 years, fined in the amount set forth in this title, or both, if A, the offense consists of 10 or more public performances by electronic means during any 180-day period of one or more copyrighted work, B, the total retail value of the performances or the total economic value of such public performances to the infringer or to the copyright owner would exceed $2,500. B2, the total fair market value of licenses to offered performances of these works would exceed $5,000. And it also inserts some other paragraphs but you get the point. Works basically right now, public performances of electronic works aren't as criminalized. I think it's still a civil law matter. I'm not 100% brushed up on U.S. copyright law at the moment, mostly because they keep changing the damn thing. But basically, the words public performances by electronic means will cover everything. I'm not kidding. And this is it says right at the top, a bill to amend the criminal penalty provision for criminal infringement of a copyright. Now, in the U.S. at least, we have two law systems. On one hand, we have civil law. Now, this is, say, to give an extremely de minimis case, let's say someone starts cutting the branches off your tree because it starts growing into your property, and you sue them. That would be a civil case because it's an action launched by you against a perpetrator which you are accusing of a crime. This is different from criminal law, which is something where the government can themselves press charges against an individual, like say rape cases, statutory rape cases. This is the reason why you can get in jail and on the sex offender list. Actually, I don't know if you can get on the sex offender list for being underage and having underage sex, but still, the point is, criminal law means the government can police it, and the government probably will police it. Now, copyright law has traditionally been mostly civil penalties. We have had this tradition for a while that copyright owners have to police their own works, and that the government is not the final arbiter of what is right and wrong with respect to copyright. Now, this has had some interesting consequences with the internet because with the internet and with computers, everything we do with digital media now is covered under copyright law. For example, Dropbox recently released a new TOS which gives them non-exclusive rights to everything you ever post on Dropbox. And the current theory is that it's basically a CYA cover your ass provision because of the fact that if they don't do that, then they're afraid someone might sue them for copyright infringement on stuff that's uploaded to their own services. Now, I will say this. In respect to games, there's a particular thing called Let's Play, which I've done, Co-Star has done, Deceased Crab, CNanners. A lot of big YouTube celebrities and partners have entire content libraries which are composed entirely of videos of copyrighted game performances. That is, recording yourself playing a video game which is copyrighted. Currently, there's never been an actual case to determine if it's legal or not, and my gut instinct is that it would be considered legal. It's a transformative work, and it's not a typical derivative adaptation. It's very much a personal thing. Like, for example, actually, I don't know of any good examples. This is why copyright is getting so restrictive. Is that there's no good case law for what happens online. Most of what people say to do online is not copyright law. It's their own morals. Like, for example, ROM hackers generally distribute patches instead of the actual ROM because they don't want to be pirating games, but technically just making the patch itself is a violation of copyright law. It's a derivative work and an adaptation which would most likely be ruled as not fair use. Well, even if it was ruled fair use, the courts... Well, actually, fair use is this annoying thing, and I don't want to go too deep into it, but basically, you would not be... You generally can't claim fair use on anything. I mean, you can say, yeah, I violated the copyright, but it was fair use. But the court does not have to agree with you, and generally, fair use is a very weak defense. So anyway, the crux I'm trying to get to this is that traditionally, we've had the system where game publishers don't really care about these activities, and generally they sweep them under the radar because they figure, well, they're not directly harmful to our bottom line. People are still buying our games. They're not replacing sales. This is just people doing creative things with our work that we're totally fine with. Even Nintendo came out and said, we don't really care what you do with Super Mario or what have you, so long as you're not, completely destroying the brand. Now, of course, because most of copyright is a civil matter, and generally there is no copyright enforcement by the government in these kinds of cases, this sweep it under the rug and hope no one sues approach has generally worked out actually quite well. Basically, we can still have our fan translations. We move out of the way if the official creator, the official licensors release their own DVDs or what have you. That's going to change. The words public performance by electronic means. That probably does not count ROM hacking or fan translations, but it's an indicator of where copyright law wants to go. It wants to go towards government policing of the internet. The traditional copyright regime's idea has been, well, copyright is going to be the civil law matter which is decided between two entities who are not the government, who have a bone to pick with each other, like, say, Apple versus Samsung or what have you. In Germany, that's different. In Germany, for example, if you go to a big electronics show and you are selling or are advertising goods that happen to have, say, a patented invention that you did not license, you will actually get shut down by the police in Germany. That is criminal style copyright and patent protection. Unlike in America, where we say, you want your protection, you have to work for it. And so, again, game publishers just, turn a blind eye to Let's Play. The same way that anime licensing companies and anime companies generally turn a blind eye to fan translations. Because they figure, well, we still have the market, and they're actually creating a market for us, so we're not going to legitimize them, because then it would be hard to pull the punch bowl away if we actually do want to sell a license. But we are going to allow them to fill in the gaps. And that's what we've been doing. This is eventually going to change because the RIAA and MPAA want the government to be policing their copyrights because they cannot police their own. Right now, they have this issue where all of the existing stuff that they have that they want to police that is on, say, a peer-to-peer network, they have to go and search for people, and then they have to go do subpoenas and such, which aren't exactly legal. The way they do the subpoena thing when they get your IP address, most judges actually frown on that because it's an abuse of the system. You're not supposed to be able to just launch a John Doe case, then subpoena the ISP. Especially considering that ISPs don't generally make very good IP records. I'm not going to get into that, into why. It's just a pain to do. But basically, this is going to get to the point where the government is going to be somehow pushed into the issue of enforcing copyright, and the government is not going to have the same ideas that, say, game publishers and anime companies have, where basically they can sweep things that they like but they don't want to necessarily license. They can sweep that under the rug. The government is not going to let them sweep that under the rug. The government is going to go after that because the government thinks, we can go after this and get some money. And that's going to be a big problem with government-sponsored copyright enforcement. I can't say exactly what this, in terms of more concrete things, this S.978 thing is definitely going to make it harder on Let's Play authors. I'm not going to shut down Let's Not Hack the World. Well, it's already technically shut down because I can't get episodes out because I've got summer courses and other things. I hope to have an episode maybe next week, hopefully, because then I'll be done with finals and such like that. But basically, if there is evidence that YouTube or some other agency is policing YouTube, or, YouTube policing itself, for public performances of electronic works that are not necessarily the original work itself, but say a recording of it like a Let's Play or a walkthrough or a COD Modern Warfare 2 epic knife kill vid, I might have to consider taking down some things. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully S.978 doesn't get put into law. Hopefully Google is trying to fight protect IP, and I hope S.978 as well, at least to make it less overbroad. And I consider them allies, even though in some cases YouTube has pulled this whole content ID crap way too tightly. That's mainly a result of the fact that they want licensing, so they have content to provide that isn't completely illegal, so they can say, hey, we have non-infringing uses, and they don't get grokstered. But basically, yeah, if you ever see all of my videos disappear at once, and that's probably me saying, this is getting too hot, I'm quitting. I probably won't do that. But just in case you do, now you know. Also, if you have any senators that you want to contact, that would be nice. I live in New York, and I am going to consider writing my senators a letter on this issue, hopefully tomorrow, maybe. I gotta check, actually, when this bill is supposed to come up for a vote. I have the bill open right now. You can search S.978, you get the full text. It's really easy to read.